Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Roka Soka Raw episode 7. And this time I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and expectations for the Dragon Ball Super Trunks arc. So, in case you guys don't already know, I'm currently watching Super, particularly the Trunks arc, and I must say, so far I'm enjoying it. I mean, there's only been 2 episodes of the arc so far, and in my opinion, both episodes are really, really good. And I especially like the fight between Black and Trunks, as well as when Trunks lunges at Goku because he thinks that he's Goku Black. Yeah, I mean, all that was good stuff. And also the encounter between Kid Trunks and Future Trunks. Well, not really an encounter. It's more like Kid Trunks just watching Future Trunks. I really think that was worth seeing. Although I really hope they expand upon that. But, that's just my thoughts on the Trunks arc so far. Now I want to get to my expectations. So, my expectations for the Trunks arc is that I expect that it will be a bit longer than it seems to be so far. Because I find it hard to believe that Goku Black's just going to come back to the past and then, I guess to the present timeline. And then just, he's going to be defeated by Goku right then and there. I mean, that seems a little far-fetched to me. Also, the way they're hyping this arc up, I think that's going to be at least a little bit longer. I'm not sure exactly how long this arc will be, though, but I'm hoping that's longer than, 5 or 6 episodes. And one thing I'm definitely expecting is Future Trunks to actually hang out with Kid Trunks. I've always wanted to see that because I felt that Tapion in a way was very similar to Future Trunks, and that the relationship between Kid Trunks and Future Trunks would be a lot like between Kid Trunks and Tapion. So me personally, that's one thing I want to see, though considering how inconsistent the writing's been, I'm not holding my breath for that. So another thing I want to see that they seem to be showing so far is, of course, Future Trunks fighting Goku, at least training with him. And for that matter, at some point I want to see Future Trunks also training with various other characters. I want to see him at least spar with Vegeta. I mean, they're father and son, so, they should definitely be sparring with each other, considering that, Vegeta did train with Kid Trunks. If you guys remember in the Buu saga. And of course, one thing I definitely want to see is Future Trunks training under Whis, because I feel the only way he's going to even have a chance against Black is if he becomes a Super Saiyan God. And in my personal opinion, if there has to be a third Saiyan that becomes Super Saiyan God, it should be Trunks. I really don't think Gohan or Gotenks really deserves it. Also, of course, what's his name? Kabe, I feel, is a little too weak to become a Super Saiyan God. Granted, I'm not sure how strong he is compared to Trunks, but, I would at least guess that Trunks might be stronger, considering Vegeta was basically toying with Kabe the whole time. Well, then again, maybe Kabe is stronger because he did seem to be doing decently well against base Vegeta. So, I don't know. Basically the point is, the only character I think that really deserves Super Saiyan God that isn't Goku and Vegeta would be Trunks. Particularly because he's the only person left to protect the future now. So, that's definitely something I want to see, is Trunks becoming a Super Saiyan God, especially since there seems to be hinting at that he only just knows Super Saiyan, which I think is stupid. By the way, that's another thing I want to see in the future, is knowing just how strong he really is. In particular, I want him to have Super Saiyan 2, but maybe they just forgot to have him use it. Because me personally, I think it's really ridiculous that he never reaches Super Saiyan 2, despite the fact that, unless this timeline takes place just a few months or so after Trunks gets back into the future, which I think is unlikely, then I think, a decade and a half or whatever, however much time passed between Trunks last being here and now, I think that should be more than enough time in order for Trunks to have reached Super Saiyan 2. Especially considering that it's at least implied that Vegeta reached Super Saiyan 2 before he became Majin. And considering Vegeta didn't train in the afterlife, I think that Trunks of all people, considering I would actually say he was probably stronger than Vegeta for a short period of time. Although a lot of people would dispute this, but at least the evidence I've seen, at the very least, are comparable. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get an explanation as to how strong Trunks really is, but again, I'm not really holding my breath for that. Now, as for Goku Black, I'm not exactly sure where he comes from, but perhaps he has something to do with this Zamatsu guy. I don't know, maybe he either might be Zamatsu, or maybe the reason why he has an earring is because he's a fusion or something. Again, I'm not entirely sure, but if I had to guess, based on the way he's talking about Saiyans, he seems like he's probably been attacked by Saiyans, or maybe, because I thought he might have been a Tuffle maybe. But again, I'm not entirely sure. I'm thinking he either might be a Tuffle or some, alien race that has some degree of experience with Saiyans. Though he didn't seem to have a very high opinion of humans either, because he said that, death is a blessing to the humans. So maybe he looks down upon all living beings that aren't him. Now, as for Zamatsu, now me personally, I'm going to guess that he's probably a Makaiyoshin, or maybe something else that Toriyama creates. But basically, I think that he's probably going to be evil Kaio. And the reason why is because he already introduced a bunch of good Kaio. The Kais of Universe, Universe 6. And he also introduced Zeno. Basically, all those guys are good guys, essentially, or at least they're not really evil. So I'm thinking that the only real reason why they should introduce this new Kai is because he's evil. Though there is a possibility that he isn't evil, but I just get the impression that he is. There's just something off about him. And let's see, now to ponder over whether or not there's anything more that I'm expecting from this arc. I definitely want to see Trunks talk to what's his name? Gohan. Man, I almost forgot his name. I really want to see him communicate with Gohan and meet Videl and even see Pan. That'd actually be funny if he met Pan, considering their relationship in GT. And I'd also like to know whether or not Trunks has encountered Majin Buu. Now, if I had to guess, he probably didn't encounter Babidi or Buu, because if he had, then he probably would have come back to the past sooner. I'm just saying. Although there isn't much they could have done, because, sure, he tried to get help from the Z Warriors, but, that time chamber isn't exactly big enough for all of them. Although I'm sure Bulma probably could have made the time machine bigger. I'd imagine if she can build a freaking time machine, I'm sure she can build a time machine that has a little more room, And incidentally, I don't even know why, Bulma didn't go back with him. I mean, I guess they were in a desperate situation or something. I don't know. But I think she should have expanded the time machine to fit 2 people at least. So her and Trunks could have gone back. But whatever, that didn't happen. Another thing I'm expecting from this arc is much better fighting. Of course, it seems promising so far because, the most recent episode was pretty interesting. Especially since, I noticed that Black seems to be fighting more strategically than most villains. He actually is trying to play it smart when he fights Trunks, and I'm hoping he keeps this up when he fights Goku. And I really hope that they, even if they're different power-wise, I really hope that skill-wise they're pretty much equal, because I'm getting tired of Goku being the undisputed master of martial arts, pretty much. You know, it seems like skill-wise, he's pretty much the only guy who can at his level. I don't really see that many opponents that are above his level. So, for instance, I think that Frieza is not as smart of a fighter as Goku, or even Vegeta for that matter. I know they'll upset some people, but I don't really care. I'm trying to tell the truth here. And I also think that, honestly, I think when it comes to skill, like raw skill, I think that Cell's probably the closest to Goku, but even he, I don't think is as good of a fighter as Goku overall. And of course there's Majin Buu, who's complete crap as a... Well, actually no, I wouldn't call him complete crap, especially when he became Super Buu. He became really strategic actually, which is weird. He's supposed to be the mindless dumb one, yet he came up with better strategies than, honestly, Vegeta, well, Raditz, Vegeta, Frieza, and Cell. But, you know, it's Toriyama in his writing. So another thing I want to see out of the series is, well, sorry, the arc is a, darn it, I lost my train of thought. Well, whatever, maybe it'll come to me later. Anyway, that's pretty much all I want to talk about that I can think of. So, what are your expectations for the Trunks arc, and are you enjoying it so far? This has been my video, and I will see you guys later.